Right now, the day's biggest news stories from a Vegas perspective. This is the Vegas Take with Sharp and Shapiro. 1, 2,
3. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro on a Wednesday, rolling out the red carpet for hour number 2. And a lot to get to, a lot to go over. I want to start with, this is straight from the White House, ladies and gentlemen. Straight from the White House. Apparently, the White House just put out a meme that says, thanks to the Trump administration, the United States has a coronavirus plan of action. Well, let me explain to you what one of those plans of actions are. As you know, Donald Trump put Mike Pence in charge of this coronavirus thing. Keep in mind, this is a guy who believes that creationism should be taught in public schools. Mike Pence believes that the government should pay for gay conversion therapy. In 2015, this is the governor of Indiana at the time, Pence allowed an HIV outbreak to spread, choosing prayer over a clean needle exchange. And as a result of Pence taking the time to pray on it, citizens of his state suffered and died. In addition to rejecting evolution, promoting gay conversion therapy, and allowing a deadly HIV epidemic to spread by choosing prayer over science, Pence has also claimed that condoms are too modern and too liberal. This is a man back in 2000 who also believed that cigarettes did not kill people. This is the guy that Donald Trump puts in charge of the coronavirus. He is a complete buffoon. And what do we have now, ladies and gentlemen? I know this might shock many of you, but now we have a photo that we have posted on our Twitter page at the Vegas Take, which shows Mike Pence in praying during a meeting with the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force. As I like to call it, the Mike Pence jerk circle. Because apparently you can just pray the coronavirus away. So I'm really glad that the White House put this memo out there that says, thanks to the Trump administration, the United States has a coronavirus plan of action. Maybe their plan of action is to pray. Because it seems to have worked so well for Mike Pence. It seemed to work so well for him in Indiana, trying to pray away this HIV thing, and then an outbreak spread, and he literally killed people because of his ignorance. Ladies and gentlemen, let me be very clear on this, okay? If you want to be in your home 24 hours a day and you want to get on your knees and pray, that's your business. If you want to go to church every day or synagogue or wherever it is you go to and believe whatever God you want to believe in, that's your business. I would never tell you what to do. That is your business. That is on your dime. That is your personal stuff.
You want to spend $400 on hand sanitizer, that is your business.
I wouldn't tell you what to do. But when it comes to the Vice President of the United States, when it comes to politicians and policy, and when you let your ignorance in praying take over, like what happened to Pence in 2015 when he was the governor in Indiana, I'm not comfortable with an idiot running this country in any way, shape, or form, or helping to run this country, that believes in gay conversion therapy. This guy is a Bible-thumping buffoon. That is exactly what I would call him. Thinks condoms are liberal? What kind of idiot makes a statement like that?
You would say Bible-thumping, meaning that you think that he says things that he actually... He's a giant hypocrite, and he does the exact opposite on a consistent basis.
He's an enormous hypocrite.
You think he pushes one thing, but does the exact same thing behind closed doors.
You know, he preaches that, he's
think he's actually a closet homosexual, despite the fact that he's very, very outspoken against homosexuality, and his wife works at a school where homosexuality is banned.
Well, all I can say is this, based on my experience, not physical experience, but based on my experience in dealing with quote-unquote people, I will say this.
Are you sure it's not physical?
Okay, let me just finish my thought. I will say this. There are a lot of people out there, not all, but some people out there, some of the biggest Bible thumpers out there, some of the people that call them, the alt-right priests are some people that are the ones that commit the most sins. Those out there that are, homophobic, that talk about how the gay people are sinners, are usually the ones that are gay themselves but are not comfortable in their own skin. It wouldn't shock me if that was Mike Pence. I have no proof to back that up. But the proof that we do have, ladies and gentlemen, is that Mike Pence is an idiot. He has a very low IQ. He's dumb. This is the guy who will not even let his wife speak to another man unless he's in the room. What kind of moron does that? Well, unless you're insecure with yourself.
That has nothing to do with being dumb. You could be
that's
Albert
insecure.
Einstein. You could be a total genius.
That's insecure.
That's all that comes down to being insecure.
Here's what is dumb, though. And I'm going to repeat this again, and then we're going to take some phone calls on this. Okay, here's what is dumb. The Mike Pence jerk circle. Okay, there are people within this, within this situation that are trying to beat this coronavirus. There are people in this picture that don't even call themselves Christians. We're talking about the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force. And in this picture, he's sitting there with his head down praying with all these other people. Like I said, it's the Mike Pence jerk circle.
Do you think that he forced them all to pray?
I don't think.
Do you think that he asked them, "Hey, we're gonna have a little bit of a prayer because I'm a very religious guy before we have this conversation"?
Listen,
and do you actually think that he pushed prayer on these people, or do you think that if a couple did not feel comfortable praying, that he said, "Okay"? Because is it possible that that's not the entire task force?
Here's what I think happened. You're in a situation where you're in a room with your boss, maybe a few of your bosses.
And you feel pressure.
Yes. And your bosses say, okay, we're going to pray, ladies and gentlemen. It's one of those situations like maybe you're dating somebody and you're at the parents' dinner table and you're not into their religion, but they say, okay, we're going to have a moment of prayer. I've had situations like that. I'm not a very religious person, but I did it just to be respectful. So I think there are some people, not all, but probably some people in that room that are just being respectful. The bottom line is this guy has a history.
Did that moment just destroy you internally for an extended period of time?
I felt uncomfortable. It made me feel uncomfortable.
The fact that you had to pray.
It made me feel uncomfortable.
And they didn't force you to pray. They said, we're going to pray, and you felt some intrinsic pressure.
Because of the repercussions of it.
But you weren't outwardly asked or demanded to be a part of the prayer session.
I think
it's a little, you mentioned the word ignorant. I think it's a little ignorant to assume that just because they have a prayer session before whatever amount of business they were going to get to, you're going to assume, predicated on his past, that Mike Pence and his task force are going to take a holistic approach to stopping the coronavirus, which is basically what you're saying right now. I think that's completely over the top.
Okay, well, here's what I'm saying.
Pretty ridiculous.
No, it's not.
Just to assume
it's not ridiculous at all.
So
and here's
you think
why.
that they're
There's
going
a history.
do you think they're going to pray this virus away?
Okay, so let me answer.
You think that a majority of what they're doing to stop this virus involves getting a group of people that you call the jerk circle and literally praying, and that's fine. And literally, you could use a different term. I'm glad you didn't. And literally praying.
I don't know what you're talking about.
To get this virus just out of the world.
Okay, so let me answer your question, and we'll take some phone calls on that, and we will pose that question to our listeners. 702-257-5396. Again, that number is 257-5396. We are talking about what I like to call it the Mike Pence jerk circle, where he gets all these people that are in the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force to pray. There's a picture that we posted on our Twitter page. And the reason why I think it's completely inappropriate and I think it's absurd is because this guy has a history. Mike Pence has a history. That's right, the prayer man in chief, as I like to call him, or the vice president. He was the governor of Indiana. He allowed an HIV outbreak to spread, choosing prayer over a clean needle exchange. This is the guy that was the policymaker then, and he is the vice president of the United States now. So, yes, I think there is a possibility that Mike Pence might be choosing prayer over doing the right thing. I don't trust this guy. By the way, I don't trust anybody that thinks that the government should pay for gay conversion therapy. I don't trust anybody.
And I understand the background behind it, but that's totally irrelevant to assume that he has taken a legitimate, holistic approach to stopping this virus.
Okay, first of all, I didn't say...
And as far as the Trump administration being responsible for this, is it not the Trump administration? Is the Trump administration not the administration that is responsible, that has put together this plan to stop the coronavirus? I mean, is that not fact? Is that not the case? I'm fairly certain that it is.
Okay, well, I'll pose this question to our listeners. We talk about the separation of church and state all the time. Are you okay with the vice president of the United States, in this case, Mike Pence, who has a history of choosing prayer over actually doing the right thing because he thinks prayer is going to solve all the issues in this country? So I asked this question. Are you okay with the vice president having a jerk circle with the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force, a picture we posted on our Twitter page? Are you comfortable with this man, the man of prayer, or the man of faith, as he likes to call himself, in this jerk circle running this coronavirus situation? Are you okay with that? Let me give out the number. 702-257-5396. Again, that number, if you want to be a part of the conversation, is 702-257-5396. And my answer to my own question is no, I'm not okay with it. I'm not okay with any politician choosing prayer over doing the right thing. That is Mike Pence, and that is his history, ladies and gentlemen. That is exactly what he has done.
So if there was,
and I just gave you facts to back up my opinion.
If there wasn't a picture of the quote-unquote jerk circle praying, would you have this same sentiment?
Absolutely.
So you would actually think,
JD, you've been here this week, haven't you?
Okay, yeah, but if this picture didn't surface, which is literally a picture of a group of people that happen to be praying, you don't know what they're praying about. You don't know why they're praying.
Okay,
you know that they are praying, but you're literally assuming, based on his history, that they are trying to stop the coronavirus in a totally holistic approach by praying.
All right, well, let's see what the listeners think out there. I've stated my opinion. By the way, I stated my opinion last week before this picture came out, and I said Pence should not be in charge of anything.
And I said the exact same thing. I said I'd rather have a guy who literally sits in an underground bunker over the course of 30 years and went to Oxford and who can't talk to the public. But the reason Pence is in this position, does he have some experience with it? Yes, but also he's going to explain himself very well. He's in this position to make the American public not panic. That is why, because he's able to articulate what's actually going on better than someone else.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Tina Trenner on the line, who I believe does a weekly show here on the Vegas Take. Tina, what's on your mind?
Hey, what's up, Tina?
Hey, I just want to talk to you for a minute. Excuse my voice this morning. Let me ask you a question. Have you read the Constitution?
What does the Constitution have to do with the jerk circle?
Well, you were just mentioning the separation of church and state.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Have I read every word? Have I read every word of the Constitution? No, I haven't.
Okay, I have several times.
Okay.
And there, in the Constitution, there is absolutely no mention of church and state.
Okay, so let me ask you a question then, Tina. Speaking of reading, have you read the report back in 2015 when the governor of Indiana at the time, Mike Pence, chose prayer and allowed an HIV outbreak to spread? Have you read that? Have you read that part of my Constitution? Have you read the part of the vice president who chose prayer, and because of that, people died? Did you read that?
Oh, I know what the policy was, and he didn't want to supply needles to junkies.
And his policy, excuse me, that's not factually accurate.
Story.
No, it's not a different story. It's a perfect example of the vice president. Excuse me, it's the perfect story.
Of church and state.
It's a perfect example. Excuse me, Tina, it's a perfect example of somebody choosing prayer and religion over doing the right thing. That's exactly what it is, because people died because of his stupidity.
It was a matter of he did not want to supply needles to junkies. So
Tina, with all due respect, he said he was praying. He said he would rather pray.
Are you going to go back to the separation of church and state? Because that's why I called you.
Okay, so
you made a statement.
I don't think religion should be a part of policy in any way, shape, or form. That's my opinion. Do you disagree with me, Tina?
I do not disagree with you, but I do disagree with you if you are saying a separation of church and state is the reason that he shouldn't believe what he believes.
Well, it's my personal opinion. It's we could have a different.
I did a whole thing on my show this weekend about the separation of church and state.
Okay.
And it was a letter that Thomas Jefferson wrote to a pastor.
Okay.
I got to excuse my voice. To a pastor to explain to him that he did not want a theocracy.
Okay, listen, Tina.
That's the separation.
I apologize.
We don't want Iran.
Okay.
We don't want an Ayatollah.
I understand that, Tina, but let's. I want to ask you about the what we're talking about right now, which is the coronavirus, and which is the fact that Donald Trump put Mike Pence in charge of this coronavirus. Now, the reason I have issues with Mike Pence, there's a lot of reasons. Again, this is a man that says the government should pay for gay conversion therapy because those are his religious beliefs. I told you what happened back in 2015. It's a man that has rejected evolution, promoted gay conversion therapy, and allowed this deadly HIV epidemic. So my question to you, Tina, regardless of the church and state comments, I'm just asking you a very specific question. Are you okay with this man, with his history, running this show when it comes to the coronavirus?
Well, I think that giving junkies free needles is a perfect example. Is San Francisco having to pay people to pick them up That's why he did it.
Okay, well, we can disagree on that policy, but again, I'm going to ask you the question again. Based on his history, we can disagree on that epidemic, that HIV epidemic, but I gave you some other examples. Are you okay with a man who lets his religious beliefs get in the way of policy, who thinks prayer in some cases is more important than putting the right policy in place? Are you okay with him running the show, Donald Trump appointing him to run this virus?
Well, you are making the assumption that that's what he's doing, and I don't agree with the fact that that's what he's doing.
Okay, I'm asking you if you're okay with him being a part of this. That's all I'm asking you.
I'm okay with him being a part of it, but they're not. Say for a minute he's doing it only with his religious conviction.
I didn't say only, but and Tina, I do appreciate the phone call. I didn't say it was the only thing, but I gave you his history. I gave you the history of where he's put his religion first before policy, and that is wrong, ladies and gentlemen.
You did say that, in your opinion, it's very possible that he could be trying to pray this virus away based on the things he's done in the past.
I think it's possible.
Which to me is completely ridiculous and over the top. How could Brian?
2015.
Okay,
there's your answer.
You actually think that all they're going to do is pray? They're going to recommend a nationwide pray.
I didn't say that.
So
you're not listening to me. You're taking it to the extreme.
No, I'm not, Brian.
Okay, so
let me explain it to you again. Extreme when you say that it's possible that he's only going to pray.
Let me explain it to you again because maybe you didn't hear me. So
I heard everything you said.
So I'm not comfortable with a man who believes that gay people should be forced to have conversion therapy and the government should pay for it. I'm not okay with someone who rejects evolution, promotes gay conversion therapy, and allows a deadly HIV epidemic to spread because of his religious beliefs. The number to call, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Wayne. Wayne, you are next up on The Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Wayne?
Morning, Brian. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
Well, first of all, I kind of want to go to bat a little bit for the Vice President Pence for a whole lot of reasons. Prayer and logic go together. That's why I'm okay with him bringing that up as a vice president. And there's a reason for that, because he's reaching out just to see if that's the frame of mind of the people.
Can I ask you a question about that then, if you don't mind, Wayne? And we can disagree on this. That's fine. That's fine. No, so you said prayer and logic go together. So let me ask you this question. Those people that were praying in those churches and those synagogues that were executed, what's the logic behind that? If prayer and logic go together, explain to me what the logic is about innocent people that were killed in synagogues and churches that were praying. Where's the logic there?
The logic comes like the other lady was trying to say, but she's not putting the words. Cut it out, dog. She's not putting the words together that are necessary to complete what Vice President, where he's coming from. First of all, he was asked.
By the way, I'm praying that your dog will stop barking. I'm in prayer right now, by the way. I'm praying your dog will stop barking. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I am believe it or not, I'm in the mountains, and there's a doggone coyote out in my camp. I'm sorry.
That's okay, Wayne. Go ahead.
Motorcycle running the coyote off.
That's quite all right, Wayne. Go ahead.
Real quickly. Vice President Pence was asked to do this, so he decided logically, let's pray. Somebody come pray with me, because this is way out in outer space with what's going on.
Okay, but again, but Wayne, going back to my question, help me with my question. What is the logic and prayer mixed together when people are in a church or a synagogue and they're executed? You said prayer and logic go together. Please explain to me the logic of good people, whether they're good Christians or good Jews, that are praying to God and lose their lives and are executed, men, women, and children. Where's the logic behind that?
There's no logic behind it.
Okay, so there's not always logic with prayer then. You just contradicted yourself. Then there's not always logic with prayer. Can we agree that maybe in some cases
you're trying to scale the walls and beat them down, Brian?
Beat who down? What are you talking about? All I'm saying is I don't want religion and politics mixed together. What, that's a pretty logical approach. You're the one who just said logic and prayer go together. I just gave you examples of innocent people that have lost their lives while they were praying, and now you're telling me there's no logic to that. So don't say prayer and logic go together. That's all I'm trying to say.
Brian, you're hot-tempered, brother.
What do you mean? I'm having a debate with you, and you just can't handle it because I'm right and you're wrong.
Well, I'm just saying you wouldn't stand a chance in one of our meetings. I was on yesterday.
What, another jerk circle meeting? What, do you have your jerk circle meeting just like Mike Pence does? What meeting are we talking about?
Right. You just hit the number with me there, Brian, the jerk circle.
What number? No, I think Mike Pence is a jerk.
World leaders out of the White House.
Yes.
You know what he puts up with?
I think Mike Pence is a jerk. Yes.
China, the leader.
Okay, what meeting are you okay, hold on a second. Let's rewind for a second. What meeting are you talking about that I wouldn't be included in your meeting?
Have to deal with that, Brian.
What meeting are you talking about, by the way? What makes you better than me? Why? Because you're an ultra-religious man and I'm not? You think you're better than me?
I'm not an ultra-religious man, Brian.
So what,
wrong.
so what meeting are you talking about? What meeting
and
are you...
I have a few rights that you don't.
What meeting are you talking about? Explain to me what meeting I would just, you would eat me for lunch. Please explain.
I went to a meeting recently
Yes.
in the White House.
Okay.
And I asked to have Vice President Pence assigned to this mission with the virus because China, listen, you're talking over world leaders such as the president of China, Russia, and everywhere else. And if you go slamming and tearing down walls like that over some Christian mix-up where they couldn't help themselves,
you think it's a Christian?
Everybody wants to help.
All right, listen, Wayne. I appreciate the call, Wayne. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what meeting you're referring to. It sounds to me like you had another jerk circle meeting, like Mike Pence did in the White House. The point I'm trying to make is a very simple one, my friend. You can disagree with me, but it's very simple. I don't want religion mixed with politics. Mike Pence has a history of that. Mike Pence has a history of rejecting evolution. I've talked to you about how he's promoted gay conversion therapy, and he allowed a deadly HIV epidemic because of his religious beliefs. That is nonsense. It's ridiculous. We all should be opposed to it, regardless of what our religious beliefs are. There are some whack jobs out there. Kids have died because the parents have not allowed them to take medication because they tried to pray their diseases away. Those people are murderers. 702-257-5396. Let's go to Steve. Steve, you are next up on the Vegas Take.
Hey, what's up, Steve?
Steve, are you there? 702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Dave. Dave, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's up?
Hey, I just had a thought. You've always heard of the never Trumpers. I think you're a never Spencer. No, what's this guy's name again?
Pence.
Yeah, Spence. You're a never Spencer.
Okay, first of all, let me just. Okay, well, I think you're a never not knowing what the vice president's last name is. By the way, it's not. It's not Spencer, sir. With all due respect, the vice president's last name is Jerk Circle.
Okay, well, God, if my hair grew back.
I wish mine would.
Whenever I was shaved, I was smarter again.
I wish mine would. Yeah.
Hey guys, just gonna give you just teasing you on that. I just had a thing, there
Dave,
are never Trumpers.
Oh, Dave, let me be clear.
Everything.
Dave, let me be very let me be very clear to you. It's not that I'm a never Pencer. I'm a never anybody that puts religion before policy. You understand? Yeah. That could be a lot. I don't care whether that's a Democrat or a Republican, and I do think more Republicans do that than Democrats. But if you put your religion before policy, Mike Pence did that in 2015, and guess what? People died because of that. I think that it's the responsibility of those. Keep your religious beliefs to yourself. Keep it in your home with your family. That's fine. I've got no problem with it. You can believe in the Wizard of Oz. I don't care. But don't let it affect policy. That's all I'm asking, Dave, and I think that's reasonable.
Yeah, but I think he's just going to be the spokesman. There's going to be smarter people in the room.
I hope so.
He's going to be the spokesman. That's all.
Well, we've heard from one of those smart people, Anthony Fauci, who's the head of the allergist and disease for the CDC. But yeah, Mike Pence is the one that is just making the American public feel better about the situation.
Yeah, well, nothing makes me feel better about a situation than a guy that would rather pray than and allow an HIV outbreak to spread. We're going to take more of your phone calls on the other side of the break. 702-257-5396. Again, that number to call, 702-257-5396. We'll take a quick break. Again, more of your calls on the other side. This is the Vegas Take on 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDAWN. All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. By the way, coming up in hour number 3, a man who has contracted the coronavirus on a cruise ship, Carl Goldman, will be joining us, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. We had a chance to catch up with him, but we are taking phone calls in regards to what I like to call the Mike Pence jerk circle. He likes to prey off diseases. This is what the man does. He has a history of trying to do it. Hasn't worked out very well for him. And now the White House has come out with a statement that says, thanks to the Trump administration, the United States has a coronavirus plan of action. So my question is the plan of action prayer? Mike Pence has a history of trying to prey off disease. Is this the guy you want in charge? He's rejected evolution, promoted gay conversion therapy, and allowed a deadly HIV epidemic to spread by choosing prayer over science. Number to call, 702-257-5396. Try to get to as many calls as we can. Let's start off with Ike. Ike, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Ike?
Yes, sir. Good morning. I'm looking great topic, and I'm thinking I'm all about separation of church and state, and I don't think that he was actually trying to pray it away. But I mean, as far as him praying in the privacy of his home, that's the way to do it.
He wasn't doing it in the privacy of his own home, though, Ike. He was doing it in the White House.
I agree with that. That goes right to when the Senate and the Congress were addressed by the Pope too. I don't believe that they should have the Pope addressing them either.
I agree. Ike,
Brian. What if they had a dinner and he decided that he was going to hold some type of prayer at a dinner, and during that dinner they had the same conversation about the plan of action.
I'll be honest with you.
What if they weren't kneeling down in a jerk circle? Okay. What if they were actually in we'll call it a rectangular dinner table?
Same opinion.
And they're having prayer. You have a problem with Mike Pence calling prayer before a dinner in the White House?
Again, I'll answer your question. Same situation I had when I was dating a woman, and I went to her parents' house, and they decided to pray, assuming that I have the same religious beliefs that they have. I think it's inappropriate. I think it makes people uncomfortable. Like you said, Ike, I agree with you. In the privacy of your own home, if you want to pray 24 hours a day and pray to Satan, you could do that if you want to.
Does Mike Pence not live at the White House?
No, he does not.
He does not.
The vice president does not live in the White House. I agree with you, and I think we both agree on this. It shouldn't. Religion and politics shouldn't mesh. And Mike Pence is the poster child for religion interfering with politics, right?
Well, this country was based on Protestantism. I mean, we moved away from that. So,
yeah.
Like I said again, I mean, when they had the Pope come in and address Congress and the Senate, it goes right back to the same thing. There's got to be separation of church and state.
Yeah. No, Ike, I agree with you 100%, my friend. I appreciate the phone call. Thank you very much.
Yeah, good call, Ike.
702-257-5396. Let's go to David. David, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on, man?
What's up, David?
Hey, good morning, guys. Hey, so Brian, look, I agree with you, 98%. But one thing
that's
that
a
you
lot.
keep saying,
that's a lot. 98%. That's a good percentage, man.
It's pretty good. But the 2% that I'm disagreeing is driving me insane.
Okay, so talk to me.
You are blaming Mike Pence for something that individuals did to themselves.
No, here's what I'm doing, David. Obviously, there's personal responsibility, and those people that contracted the virus, they are absolutely personally responsible. Here's what I'm saying, David. I'm saying that his religious beliefs absolutely interfered in trying to help some of those people. And if the religion was not a part of policy in Mike Pence back in 2015, some people's lives would have been saved. Do I take personal responsibility to those people that decided to get involved with drugs and needles? Absolutely, David. I'm not putting 100% of it on Pence. What I'm saying is, as a policymaker and a politician, when you let your religion interfere in politics, nothing but bad things can happen, and it happened back in 2015. Does that make sense?
It does, but but I still think those people are responsible. So I take Mike Pence
completely
out of the equation.
David,
they did it to themselves.
David, listen. Of course they are. I would, listen. If somebody is drunk driving, and they kill themselves, they don't kill anybody, but they kill themselves. I say to myself, you know what? They did it to themselves, and it's hard to feel bad for them. But I'm still going to feel bad for them because they made a horrible mistake that costed them their lives. Right?
Well, certainly, but
I mean, a lot of these people.
I feel bad for them as well. It's not without compassion, but nonetheless, you got to take responsibility. Another quick point is I think that this coronavirus thing is really blown out of proportion, and I think that going on and saying, "Oh, the wrong guy is in charge," only adds to the panic. Like, "Oh, what's going to happen? The wrong guy's in charge. Oh no, it's going to be worse than it would have been." And I think that that's just. It's uncalled for.
Well, listen, David.
That's a very valid point, I think, David, as well.
If you heard the first hour of the show at 9:30, I was mocking these morons that are going to Costco and spending
he's saying that the media on the left wing media is blowing this out of proportion to add more panic.
Well, here's the thing, David.
To the public.
I get it, David.
To make Trump look worse.
David, you just talked about personal responsibility. So let's add to that. Let's go with that for a second. If somebody watches a TV show for entertainment, for ratings, whatever the case may be, and somebody is over-dramatizing the coronavirus, and by the way, I agree with you. I think people are doing that. And if somebody listens to a report, whether it's Fox News, CNN, MSNBC, and they say, "Oh my God, honey, we're going to get the coronavirus. Let's go and spend $400 on hand sanitizer." Don't you think personal responsibility goes to that as well?
It's absolutely insane. I know they were out of water, and I can't understand why people think that coronavirus is going to stop water from coming out of their tap.
It's absurd. So you agree there's personal responsibility. There's personal responsibility. If you're too dumb to realize, and I agree with you, that it is over-dramatized, then you have to take some personal responsibility and say, look, there are some idiots out there that are very gullible, right?
No question about it.
Yeah, David, I appreciate the phone call, my man. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Good call,
Hopefully
David.
we got up to 98.5%. I won't be happy until we're at 98.5%. That 98% is a pretty good percentage, though. 702-257-5396 is the number to call. We're talking about the Mike Pence jerk circle, as I like to call it. He likes to pray a lot. Hasn't really helped him, though. Hasn't really helped him with policy, has it? We talked about the HIV outbreak with these needles. He decided to pray over doing the right thing. He believes in conversion therapy. He actually believes that the government should pay for conversion therapy. And this is what makes it even worse, folks. Back in 2000, he said that he believed that cigarettes did not kill people. This is the idiot that is our vice president. Your thoughts, 257-5396. Let's go to Ron. Ron, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Ron?
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good. What's on your mind, Ron?
Well, what I'm talking about is the needle situation. You see, Pence got his way of looking at it, but I agree with you. Look, once somebody's hooked, they got to be helped.
Right.
And if you can help them just with a clean needle and keep the hepatitis and all these other diseases out of their bodies so that they don't pass it on when they give blood and things like that.
Exactly. Ron,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know. Ron, I know exactly what you mean, and we agree. Let me ask you a question. You think it's fair and reasonable for me to say that Mike Pence and his religion got in the way of possibly saving lives? That's a fair statement, isn't it?
Well, religion should not get in the way of common sense.
Exactly. That's
common sense is common sense, and there are a lot of there's in the whole history of the earth, there were 2,380, I think 85 religions in the whole history of the earth. And there's only like about 10 that make any sense anymore.
Ron, I hate to...
that are the top ones, but I don't want to talk about religion.
Yeah.
What I really am getting at is, look, if we're going to give free needles away to people that need it, why not the government give free marijuana away?
Well, in some cases, they do give free marijuana away. There's medical marijuana, and there's certain cases that people have diseases.
Buy it.
Well, there's certain cases where people have diseases. They might have cancer. Listen, I agree with you. I don't think marijuana should be free just for the sake of getting high, but I think it should be free just like any prescription drug if you have the right insurance. Absolutely, marijuana needs to be covered because it's proven to help people with pain and in some cases can even help cure certain diseases.
Helps me. I smoke it.
And
I've been smoking it for 50 years, and I'm 74 years old.
God bless you, Ron.
I have friends of mine that smoked all their life. Cigarettes are out dead, and guess what?
Yeah, there you go.
I'm talking to you.
Yeah, Ron, I'm
That's
glad.
why I live here in Nevada.
Ron, I'm glad.
Because people here have common sense.
Well, you're right, Ron, and I agree. I appreciate the phone call, and I appreciate the fact that you are in your 70s and you seem to be doing well, and I support you smoking marijuana as I would smoke anyone at the right age with the right health situation smoking marijuana. If it helps you, if it puts you in a better mood, what is the problem with it? When we look at alcohol and we look at how many people die from alcohol-related situations like DUIs, the government has no problem with alcohol, right? No problem if somebody gets a DUI, give them a slap on the wrist so long as they don't hurt anybody. But when it comes to marijuana, for years, for years, people put, call these guys criminals. Some violent criminal? Really? Is it a violent criminal when you get caught with weed? It's absurd. 702-257.
Good call, Ron.
702-257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Brady. Brady, you're next up on the Vegas Take.
What's up,
Brian? Right on, guys. Brian, your Pence derangement syndrome has reached an all-time high. And you got to remember that it's one nation under God. And you got to get used to that. You better start reading the Bible instead of going to the public libraries and watching your drag queens.
First of all, I don't go to public libraries. That's number one. Number two, let me tell you what my Bible says, Brady. We must have read a different book. Here's what my Bible said. My Bible said Nobody who is a homosexual should be forced to go to conversion therapy. My Bible says you shouldn't look at somebody differently because of their sexuality. My Bible says if you have an opportunity to save lives and you're a politician, you shouldn't let your religion get in the way of it. You should try to save people's lives. My Bible does not believe in creationism. My Bible would never reject evolution. My Bible would not promote gay conversion therapy, and my Bible would not allow a deadly HIV epidemic to spread. Brady, that's what my Bible says. I guess your Bible says something different.
Are you an atheist, Brian?
No, I am not, but my Bible says something different than your Bible.
What kind of Bible are you reading, brother? Because you better get something different.
So you're okay. And your Bible. So let me be clear. Let me be clear on this one. Your Bible says you think gay people should be. My Bible. Let me finish my question.
My Bible.
Your Bible says that gay people should be forced to go to conversion therapy. Are you okay with that?
I don't care about that.
I just asked you a question.
In the White House, what is the problem?
Well,
you idiot.
Okay, so do you want to have a conversation, or do you just want to do what you normally do and call into the show and just make yourself sound like you have a 20 IQ? Which one is it going to be, Brady? You tell me. Because if you want to have a conversation about religion and you want to have a conversation, I just asked you a specific question, and once again you dodged it, so I will ask it again. Are you okay with a man as the Vice President of the United States, as a policymaker, still feeling that the government should pay for gay people to have conversion therapy? Are you okay with that? Yes or no?
Yeah, because they pay for when they get their when they chop everything off in the Army. They pay for all the parts that they take on and off.
First of all, not every homosexual is in the Army, so your answer makes little to no sense.
About the transvestites that you
excuse me. First of all, I love everybody. I don't care whether you're a transvestite.
Well, you're a transvestite. You're probably a closet transvestite.
All right, Brady. All right, Brady. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Obviously, this guy, I tried to give him an opportunity to have a respectful conversation. I tried to give somebody with a very low IQ to have a conversation. I gave him multiple opportunities, and what a shocker that Brady was not capable of having a conversation for no longer than 10 seconds without saying ridiculous, homophobic things. And it does not shock me that he is way on the right. That does not shock me at all. 702.
Good call, Brady.
702. And there's nothing good about that call. 257-5396 is the number to call. Let's go to Larry. Larry, you are next up on the Vegas Take.
What's up, Larry?
Larry, are you there? Larry, go ahead. You're on. Okay, I guess Larry wasn't ready. 702, put him back on hold. 702-257-5396 is the number to call again. We're talking about the jerk circle, which is Mike Pence. He decided, we put the picture up on our Twitter page, by the way. He's praying during a meeting with the U.S. Coronavirus Task Force. And again, this is a man who has a history of putting prayer before policy. Let's go to Lauren.
But that does not mean that he's doing it in this case. And just because he is praying with a group of men or women who happen to be part of his coronavirus task force does not mean that he is choosing a holistic approach to stopping the coronavirus on a national level.
Let's see what the callers think. Let's go to Lauren. Lauren, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Lauren?
Hi. Yeah, I speaking from a personal experience, I have a child back in the 90s, or actually in the 80s, that was born with AIDS that I adopted. Mm-hmm. And we got her on protocol at the National Institute of Health.
Yes.
And I recall my wife was back there with her at the time, and she had gone septic. She'd gone code blue. They didn't expect her to survive. And I remember telling my wife, well, there's really nothing I can do other than pray. Mm-hmm. I don't belong to any religion, but I do believe in God. And I did pray. And within my daughter didn't die. Mm-hmm. Within a 24-hour period, I was back in Bethesda, Maryland at NIH, and my daughter was up jumping around on the bed like nothing had ever happened.
Well, Lauren, let me just start off by saying this, and this is the obvious. I am so glad and happy to hear that your daughter got through this and is okay now. We're all happy to hear that, regardless of our disagreements on religion. If prayer helped get you through something and there was nothing else that could have been done, then I have absolutely no problem with that. I have no problem with that at all, Lauren. But you have to understand what I'm saying. This is a different circumstance you were in. You're not a politician. You weren't making policy. And listen, I'll be perfectly honest with you. You know, my family was in a very serious car accident when I was 12 years old.
I recall you telling me.
Yeah, both my parents had about a 20% chance to live. And there were people that were praying, and there were times where I was sitting there. I'm not a doctor, right? I had no, what's the word I'm looking for? I had no, I guess I'm struggling for the right word, but I had no control over my parents, as far as the doctors and the medical stuff. But I prayed, and there's nothing wrong with that, Lauren. So we have that in common. And like I said, I'm glad your daughter made it through. The only point, go ahead, Lauren.
The other thing I'd like to point out is the way that our government is set up. There's always figureheads. It's just like President Obama put Biden over to find a cure for cancer. And the actual people that actually run the thing.
Yes.
Like Fauci. I've met Fauci.
Yes.
And he was there when my daughter was there.
Sure.
And Our system is set up where we have figureheads.
I agree, but here's my problem, Lauren, and my friend, I got to get to some of the other calls. Let me say again, I'm really glad that your daughter made it through. I'm really happy to hear that, and I appreciate the call. It wasn't just Mike Pence that was praying. It wasn't just the figurehead in this jerk circle. It was a bunch of people from this U.S. coronavirus task force. Let's take some more phone calls. Let's go to Zach.
Thanks for the call, Lauren.
Zach, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Zach?
Yeah, well, coming from a family who is Christian, and I'm an atheist. When I go over to their house, they pray before they eat. I don't have a problem with it.
That's in the home. No. I didn't say I had a problem with it, Zach.
You went to a girlfriend's house, right?
Yes,
and
correct.
They prayed,
correct.
And it bothered you, but they were in their house.
Here's the thing. It made me a little uncomfortable. Okay, but here's the difference, though, Zach.
You felt uncomfortable. That's because you have a thin skin.
No, Zach, you're misinterpreting what I'm saying, okay? I don't have a problem with anybody doing anything they want to in their own home. The reason why I said it made me feel a little uncomfortable, I'm not really a big prayer guy, but I'm not attacking the parents or the family. They have a right to do that in their own home. I didn't make any negative comments about them. I'm making negative comments about people like Mike Pence who put their religion before policy. Do you see the difference?
Who have put their religion towards policy in the past, but in this case, you're assuming that they're doing it again. And you have no idea, Brian.
Going by his history.
Again, if Mike Pence was at a dinner table with that same task force and held and a picture was taken and held prayer, would you think the exact same thing, or are you more concerned because
this isn't about that?
It was the image was more graphic. They're bending down. Their heads are on the ground. They're in a circle. The jerk circle, as you call it.
But that's what it is.
It's not.
Mike Pence is a jerk.
But that's fine. But if it was a dinner table, would you feel the exact same way?
Completely different circumstance.
I know it's not.
Completely different. Hold on a second.
How is that?
You're telling me
Brian,
that.
how is that a different circumstance?
You're telling
it's
me
not a different circumstance.
Can I answer?
In one case, they're on the floor. In the other case, they're at the dinner table. In both cases, they are simply praying before they're doing whatever business, whatever plan they're planning to put together. And you're literally assuming that because they're on the floor or at the dinner table, that just because of his past, that Mike Pence and his task force is going to take a totally holistic approach to stopping the coronavirus.
All right,
and you're calling him a jerk for doing so.
Can I answer your question?
Absolutely.
Because it was a long question. And then we have a lot of people on hold. There is a fine line between the vice president of the United States being the father and husband and praying in his home, and the vice president of the United States praying as the vice president with his policymakers and the U.S. coronavirus task force. That's my point. Let's get back to the phone calls. Let's go to Al. Al, you're next on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Yeah, I think, Brian, listen, first of all, with all due respect, I don't think you understand the power of prayer. Let me finish. I'm looking at our dollar bill right here. It says, "In God we trust."
Uh-huh.
That's our country's motto.
Uh-huh.
Okay, now, let me tell you, Christians believe that God created science.
Uh-huh.
And when you do the power of prayer
where's the evidence of that? Where's the evidence that God created science? Where's the evidence, sir?
Because everything around here, the thing is this, Christians believe that God created the universe.
Christians believe.
Let me finish.
Well, hold on a second. You said Christians believe. That doesn't mean Christians are 100% right. You don't know that.
Well, let me just tell you what Christians believe, and then you see if there's any scientific evidence. If you can use your scientific mind to determine what I said, whether there's any truth to it or not. Now, Christians believe that God, or there was a creator that created science. Now, when you go, I'm an engineer. God or whoever, we have an intelligent brain enough to go in there and figure out the mathematics, the chemistry of how the universe operates. Okay? And we believe that is the handiwork of man, of God.
Okay, Al, I
who
have
is
to.
the creator behind it.
For
Now,
time constraints,
so
for time
whoever created God, whoever created the universe, there's laws to the universe.
Okay, Al,
now, you believe, hold on.
Al, you got to hurry. I got a lot of callers.
There's a God behind it or not, a person. Okay, we believe that we understand the laws of the universe.
Al, I get your point. Let me just and by the way, I appreciate the call. I got to get to a lot of other callers. You said it best. You believe. Here's the thing. You have no idea for sure how this earth was created. Neither do I. We don't know. We don't know if there's an afterlife. We don't know if there's a heaven or hell. We don't know if there's a devil. You can believe it, but you don't know for sure, and neither do I. That is the bottom line. And Mike Pence, by the way, doesn't know either. None of us know for sure. So this nonsense that we believe it must be true is ridiculous. Let's go to Joel. Joel, you are next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, Joel?
Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
My issue with Pence is the fact that they actually had a photographer in there taking pictures of it.
Right.
And, I mean, to me, that's like, okay, we're wearing our religion on our sleeve.
Yeah.
Rather than, that should have been done in private. That should not have been something that you photograph and then put out on the web or release.
Yeah,
to
Joel.
But how do you know that Mike Pence? How do you know that Mike Pence directed the photographer to take that picture?
I don't.
Exactly.
But
just like Brian doesn't know.
Now wait a minute. Somebody directed that photograph be released.
Exactly. Somebody in the administration. Yes, correct.
Whomever it was. I don't care who it was. That doesn't matter. The point is that it should not have been released as a photo op.
Larry, I'm sorry,
but
Joel?
How does that reflect poorly on Mike Pence and his quote-unquote jerk circle?
Go ahead, Joel.
I didn't say it did I?
No, Brian, the whole entire conversation is about Mike Pence praying in the White House as opposed to his own home and possibly taking a holistic approach to stopping the coronavirus based on his past.
You're using the word holistic
yes.
wrong, by the way, JD. You mean holy approach. Holistic means doing it, it's holistic, and that's an entirely different word than what you're using.
All right, Joel. Joel, I'm going to take you for your word on that. You're a smarter man than I. We appreciate the phone call, Joel.
Good
a lot
call,
of other
Joel.
calls to get to in a very short period of time. Let's get to Larry. Larry, you're next up on the Vegas Take. What's going on?
What's up, Larry?
Hey there, how are you?
Good. What's on your mind?
One thing that I would like to say is you keep touting the religion, the separation of church and state. Our forefathers were very strong in the belief of God. The Constitution was based on that belief. The difference of church and state is that the state cannot create its own church and mandate the people to actually be a part of it.
Okay, but I have to interject and say some of our forefathers that believed in God also believed in slavery, so that means absolutely nothing to me.
Until you research that information, don't talk about it.
No, I'm going to talk about it. No, I'm going to talk about it. Some of our forefathers were okay with slavery. I just spoke about it.
Okay, here's the thing. George Washington had slaves.
Yes, he did.
Do you know that when he went to purchase the slaves, he purchased entire families to keep the families together? He paid the slaves.
So you are okay with buying a family? You're okay with that, and you want to talk to me about religion and preach religion to me, and you want to defend slavery? No, I want you to understand. He bought families. You're defending buying families, and you want to preach religion to me?
Please understand the basis. He did that to keep them together.
What a great thing to do. You know what? I'm going to buy your family, but you know what? I just want to keep them together because your family's not doing very well. You know, I heard your daughter's having some relationship problems. I'm going to buy your daughter and your son, and then when you come after me, I'm going to say, listen, sir, listen, Larry, I was just trying to bring your family together. Are you freaking kidding me? Get off this show. You're going to defend slavery, you bozo? Let's go to Andy.
Are you all right, Brian?
No, the guy's a moron. He's defending slavery.
Good call, Larry.
What a bozo. I'm going to buy your family. What do you think about that? I got $20 in my pocket, and then my defense is I'm just trying to keep your family together. Are you kidding me? Are there really Looney Tunes like that? That's the same idiot who goes to Costco and spends $900 on frickin' hand sanitizer. Larry's that guy. He'll buy your family, and he'll buy hand sanitizer. And then we wonder why we have people like this in society. He's defending slavery, and in the same conversation, he's talking about religion. Another Laura Ingraham, folks, another guy that wears his cross over his neck, defending slavery and talking about religion. Oh, my God. I'm in shock over that phone call. We're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back right after this. You're listening to the Vegas Take right here on the all-new 101.5 FM, 720 AM, KDWN.